And let me also introduce our guest joining us here at the 10 a.m. broadcast, Mr. P.K. Malhotra, who is the former Deputy MD SBI, joining us from Chandigarh. And we also have Yogendra Kapoor, the economist, who is joining us from the national capital. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Mr. Kapoor, I would want to begin from you. Where exactly and what exactly rather triggered this crisis? And looking at the situation there where we are already seeing long queues, we've seen what happened with the PMC, and this time the people not wanting to take any chances or any risk, they are already queuing outside Yes Bank branches to withdraw money. And what exactly the assurances that can be given to them? What is your understanding?
Right. See, first of all, I would like to come to the crux of the problem, that why this situation has got arisen. Well, the RBI discovered that for the year ending 31st March 2019, there was a divergence of bad loans which got discovered by the Yes Bank. And now the situation is like this, that the bank, it needs to take a measure that wherein they have to ensure that the capital infusion needs to take place by SBI and LIC, for which they need a time of 30 days, which they have taken, and during which a plan of reconstruction and reorganization will take place. Now, my suggestion is that the general public doesn't need to panic at this stage. The limit of 50,000 is very much there for a month, but there's also a situation that in case of any emergency situation, wherein, I mean, it is a situation relating to a medical treatment or for the education purposes, or if there is a marriage of a dependent in a family, or if there is any unforeseeable event or incident, for that there is a situation that the banks have been empowered to increase that limit from 50,000 to 5 lakh. So my point is that yes, it's very important that all the ATMs of the bank, they should be fully loaded, that there should not be a situation that the ATMs are going out of cash. So this is something I think which needs to be taken care of. And it's very important that the Reserve Bank of India, it prepares the scheme of the reorganization and restructuring within the period of these 30 days, so as to ensure that after the period gets over, there is business as usual, and that's what is important.
All right, Mr. Malhotra, coming to you now, because significantly we're talking about the public sector lender, SBI, along with other financial institutions that have come forward to actually bail out Yes Bank. So how do we understand the situation, especially when it comes to SBI and its role in this crisis?
Actually, what the government has mandated SBI and others to do is have a kind of consortium which will take over this bank, Yes Bank, ultimately, not immediately. But for that, some kind of a scheme will have to be drawn, under which terms and conditions these banks and other financial institutions or other investors will take over the running and bringing the bank back to health. That will obviously take much longer than the 30 days period which is envisaged. This 30-day period RBI will use to draw up a plan which can be called a rehabilitation plan for this bank. And depending upon the contours of that plan, future action of the bank and the other institutions which take over will depend. And of course, the board will have to be replaced with new directors. And the new bank, if it is amalgamated with State Bank of India, then all the depositors will become depositors of State Bank of India. But if this bank is run as a separate entity under the management and ownership control of other financial institutions, then this the depositors and other stakeholders of this bank will continue to be in a separate entity. That is how it is likely to pan out in future. It will all depend upon the kind of scheme.
A quick question to you also, Mr. Kapoor, because if we are talking about the RBI, that is already facing a lot of criticism on major supervision lapses that has happened previously in the cases of Punjab National Bank and Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank as well. Now, it couldn't have afforded Yes Bank to fail, which is already looking at a major crisis. Almost 25% of the company shares that have witnessed a huge drop right after the moratorium was put in place. What exactly is the way forward now, and especially looking at the crisis, which all customers would want to know?
Right. First of all, we have to understand that the Yes Bank issue is well within the powers and control of RBI in terms of whatever actions they wish to take going forward. Now, they have already taken steps in terms of the management being taken over and the capital infusion that is going to take place by way of issuance of stake to SBI and LIC. So now the point is that yes, there have been lapses on the part of this bank, which got discovered in 2016-17 as well, wherein the divergence of bad loans got discovered and there was an underreporting of bad loans by this bank, and it was under scanner since then. 17-18 financial year, it was still all right, but in 18-19, again, there was a divergence of bad loans which got discovered to the tune of 3,277 crores. So this was the figure that got discovered. And since then, the RBI had been trying its level best to ensure that, I mean, they had taken a step in the form of not, allowing the previous managing director, Mr. Rana Kapoor, to continue or to be reappointed as a director. So they had taken the steps right from that stage itself. So now I think the important point is that they need to structure out the things well and within the given time, because the moment there is an impression that gets created that the Reserve Bank is not taking appropriate steps in terms of the time issues, then it is going to create unnecessary panic in the minds of public also and in the mind of stakeholders and everyone who is concerned and interested in the bank. So I think
well, it seems when it comes to the public, they are already in a situation where they are fearing that their money will be stuck. And that is why we are already looking at long queues right after the bank opening at various branches of Yes Bank across the nation, where we are looking at long queues already. And we continue to dispel all those rumor mongering that has especially been happening. So we continue to get in-depth and actual information to our viewers, especially those who are customers of Yes Bank. Thank you very much, Mr. P.K. Malhotra, for joining in. And to you too, Mr. Yogendra Kapoor, for giving us an important perspective about this ongoing crisis.